Foreword by Dr. Jane Goodall. Four Worlds International is to be congratulated for its wisdom and foresight in publishing this new edition of The Sacred Tree, and I feel very honored to have been asked to write the preface. For several years now, I have been working with indigenous peoples in different parts of the world. Their ancient philosophy of respect for Mother Earth, respect for all life forms on the planet, is my philosophy too. I grew up in England, and I used to spend a lot of time up in a very special tree. He was known simply as Beech, and I am looking out at his spreading branches as I write. For hours I stayed up there, feeling close to the birds and clouds and wind. I climbed up with my homework, with a book, or simply with my thoughts and dreams. There I learned my respect and love for nature. There I dreamed that one day I would go to Africa. Years later, when my dream was a reality, the forests of Gombe National Park, where I was studying chimpanzees, became my home, and I got very close to the heartbeat of nature. I became part of the natural world, one with the stars, the winds, the rain, and the tumbling streams. There I learned my kinship with the rustling, fluttering, scampering, flying, running of the forest creatures, and learned to recognize the wild and eerie pant hoots with which the chimpanzees greet the dawn and say goodnight at the end of each day. Deep in one of the valleys, I discovered a very spiritual place. A waterfall drops down from a rocky ledge 80 feet above onto the rocky riverbed, and you can hear the roar of its falling from afar. I now know this place was sacred to the indigenous people who lived there in the old days. Their spiritual leaders went there every 2 or 3 years to perform their ceremonies before the area became a national park. A few of them are still alive, and I have invited them to come back when the spirit moves them. It is in this magical place that one can watch the chimpanzees perform their awe-inspiring waterfall dance. I met a shaman in South Africa who explained that the word chimpanzee came from the Aboriginal people of Angola and means the ones who went before. Perhaps they danced there thousands of years before human beings arrived in the forests of Gombe. Then, for millions of years, as our ancestors began to spread across Mother Earth, as they gradually learned to walk upright, to use tools, to hunt for animals, to use their skins to keep themselves warm, to harness fire and cook food, they lived in harmony with nature. The people of the First Nations learned to respect Mother Earth and the riches she provided so generously. They did not greedily take from the land more than they needed. Alas, the selfish, wasteful ways of modern humans is destroying Mother Earth. Careless use of water has lowered the water tables. Unlimited burning of fossil fuels is contaminating the air, burning up the ozone layer, contributing to the gradual but relentless warming up of our temperatures around the globe. Thoughtless, mindless use of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and chemical fertilizers is poisoning Mother Earth, destroying life forms that took millions of years to appear on our planet. Among the indigenous people on Earth today, there are spiritual leaders, medicine men and women, tribal chiefs and elders who have, despite centuries of bitter persecution and genocide, have held true to their heritage and traditions, have kept alive their sacred knowledge of the interconnectedness of life. They understood that, if we do not stop raping Mother Earth for short-term gain, life as we know it today will no longer be possible. Among these people are some of whom I am honored to count as my spiritual brothers and sisters, fellow travelers along the path of life. Our hearts beat the same tune. I hear as they do, the crying out of the violated forests and prairies of the wetlands, the mined, shattered rocks of the sacred mountains, the dying, contaminated streams and rivers, the choking air. I feel the anguish of the animals, the four-footed, winged, and finned brothers and sisters. Many species are struggling to survive. Many have already gone forever. The sacred tree will help young and old alike to make better choices as they move through life. Choices that will help to restore our planet before it is too late. My own Roots and Shoots movement, the environmental and humanitarian program of the Jane Goodall Institute that aims to empower young people to take informed and compassionate action, to make our world a better place for all living things. It is a natural partner of Four Worlds International in this venture. We have so much, in our Western, modern world, to learn from the indigenous wisdom that is embedded in this delightful book.